Welcome to Boys and Brunch. This is the show where we expose everything going down on the timeline. Today, we are talking about Logan Paul's defense of Harry Styles' Vogue dress cover, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion, the Breakfast Club being upset over Meg the Stallion snub. Well, not really a snub, but we'll get to that. And the Real Housewives discussion. We'll have a Real Housewives discussion touching on Potomac Housewives looks and Nene Leak's update on the read sessions. I'm Jarrod D. King, and I'm joined by co-host Brandon Harris Williams and Marcus Haynes. And we are also joined by a special guest host who is a fellow YouTuber and overall fabulous person, Angie Williams. Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, Angie? How are you today?
I'm good. It feels a little strange. It's kind of early for me, and I'm normally, watching you guys on YouTube, commenting and watching football at the same time. So it's a different vibe today, but I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me to your show.
Of course. We're glad to have you on. So what do you do on your YouTube channel?
On my YouTube channel, I do a lot of, I started my YouTube channel as I wanted to do makeup and like beauty reviews, but people really got into the competition shows like Big Brother, The Challenge, and then I do the Housewives and like Ready to Love. So I think now it's more like competition type of reality shows and housewives type of shows, but I started off doing the makeup.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get back into that.
Okay. And I thought you had like some jewelry or something on there at one point as well.
I do. I just started selling paparazzi jewelry, and I started a separate kind of like Instagram called Kiss My Cheeks Boutique. I'm trying to brand the Kiss My Cheeks thing.
Gotcha.
But I just started selling the jewelry, so I don't have a lot of inventory, so I haven't really blasted it all out there. I'm trying to wait till I get a big chunk of inventory so I could really put it all out there and start selling.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good. So I just had a question, because which cheeks are you talking about? Which cheeks are we kissing?
Everybody said, I'm happy you asked that, because like my mom hates the name because she's like, you telling people to kiss your ass. And I'm like, no, it's kind of a play on words. But my son, who is now 17, his nickname is Cheeks. And you know how Black people are. If you give your kid a nickname, that's their name.
Yeah.
So we call him Cheeks because he gets it from his mom. He has huge cheeks. And so it's kind of like a play on words, but it's really like a shout out to my son, Kiss My Cheeks. But
I love that.
Awesome. So I'm just saying quick hello to all of the people in our chat. I see Connected. I see Remedy, who was with us last week. I see love_eternal / Mama Shay / my bestie. I see her in the chat. So Bourgeois is in the building. I love it. Who's next? Marcus, what's new with you, and what are you? Oh, Angie, I forgot to ask what you're drinking.
Oh, I have Crown and Sprite. You can't see it because I have it in my nice friendly glass that keeps it cold. But I have a Crown with a splash of Sprite today.
It's a splash.
Is it regular Crown or is it
Crown Apple? That's my favorite. Crown Apple.
Very nice.
I saw the lady last week had that, and I shouted out to her. I was like, "That's my drink." I love Crown Apple with Sprite.
Awesome. It does go really good with Sprite.
Marcus, why don't you give us a quick update and let us know what's in your cup?
I am shouting from the rooftops because most of the semester is over. All that's left now is the grading.
Amen.
So, yes, holla. Let me see. I guess in part celebration as I start to get through it, that y'all, I think I've said by now, I'm a gamer. So I've been playing a lot of Age of Calamity over the weekend just to kind of wind myself down. And I'm really just looking forward to an extended break where I ain't got to answer emails.
That's awesome. Okay.
It must be nice.
And the drinks, sir?
I went back to an old standby to some sweet red wine. You know, after the Kool-Aid that I had these past 2 weeks, I was glad to get back to something I knew.
Gotcha. All right. Brandon, what's new with you and what are you drinking?
Well, I'm drinking a mimosa. It's mostly orange juice this week because I drank too much last night. I was in Atlanta. A friend was in a movie, so I went to the movie premiere last night. We wore our mask. It was still safe and everything.
Oh, wait, your
Then
friend
afterwards,
was Travaris, right? He was on our
yes,
show.
Trevor, who was on this.
Yes.
Praise God. Thank you. That's why we keep you around. I got a headache, child. So yes, he was in it. He did an amazing job. It's called Some Kind of Christmas. I think it'll be somewhere streaming or released relatively soon. It's a gay Christmas movie about his family going home, that kind of a thing. It was really good. What else did I do? Then I drank entirely too much after that, and
Well,
my
it's a
head
celebration.
starts. So yeah,
Love it.
praise
Okay.
God.
Awesome.
They say drink again to get rid of it. That doesn't really work, but you know.
So I'm drinking a Malbec. This
Okay.
is, I guess, like a dark kind of wine, dark dry wine. It's not really a brunch drink, but I've had tequila the past few weeks, so I'm like, let me just do something different. And speaking of something different, I mean, you see, I've got the head all wrapped up. I'm following one of Brandon's cues today, but I'm going to remove it because I've been talking all week about this new hair that I've had. So here we go. Let's see. Y'all let me know if you like it, if you approve.
Yes.
A drum roll.
Yes, come on, blonde.
A color.
I don't see it.
It's like a blonde. I'm like a blonde now.
Yes. Right, yeah, because it does kind of almost fade in a little bit, yes. But
right, so I gotta let me get into the camera here so y'all can see. But yeah, I'm blonde now. Thank you. Yeah, it was like a 4-hour process yesterday. Oh my gosh, but I like it. I like it. And I'm gonna have to go in a few weeks. I want to get it a little bit more like a platinum blonde, so I'm gonna go and change it up a little bit in a few weeks. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. That's been
a new color.
Yes. Gotta boost it up a little bit.
Gotta keep them on their toes.
Change it up. Exactly.
We do. I love it.
So, to our viewers, if at any point you hear something you like, please heart it up, give us a like. I will be watching the comments and doing my best to interact with you and shout you out. Speaking of shout outs, we are all sending a lot of love to our first Patreon subscriber, Mama Shay. Shout out, claps, yes. She gained exclusive access to our after show, Splitting the Bill, and we will soon have merch and tickets available for our private brunch event as well. So head over to boysandbrunch.com to become a patron now. So I'm going to jump into our first topic. How about that? Because I think we have a lot to talk about, and I want to do this quickly. I see our intro was a little bit shorter today. Thank goodness, because we got a lot on our plate. So we're going to talk about Logan Paul. I know that this did not necessarily cross the desk, so to speak, of our Black gay Twitter audience, whatever. Well, the mixture of that intersection there. But I thought it was an interesting conversation to have because it kind of deals with some certain things. You'll see. So anyway, on an episode of the podcast Impulsive, famous YouTuber Logan Paul defended a man wearing a dress on the cover of Vogue. The man in question, well, that recording artist is Harry Styles, who was once a part of the boy band One Direction. During this viral clip, the host of the podcast says of wearing a dress, quote, "It ain't manly, bro." To which Logan Paul responds, "What is manly to you? Is manly being comfortable in your own skin and being comfortable with who you are, regardless of what people think about what you're wearing?" The host responded, and I'm just paraphrasing now, that I think it's great to try new things, and I understand not judging people. Then Logan Paul cut in with, like you are right now. And then the host went into gaslight mode and started saying, like, why are you being combative? People like you are too quick to get angry at our opinion and stuff like that. So did you guys see the clip?
I didn't see the full clip.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it
I saw what you sent us.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty. That
that's
was
what I saw.
basically it. That was basically it. So Angie, what did you think of this exchange?
First, I had to go back and figure out who Logan Paul was and the people involved because I recall him being problematic in the past on other issues.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back, he was the one who got his YouTube channel canceled because he put someone's suicide up, something like crazy like that.
He went to the
So I had to
suicide
first,
forest or something in
I had to
Japan or
first
something.
remind myself, okay, who is Logan Paul and why is this even
I see a thing.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I was like, okay, he's a huge YouTuber that he got it snatched. Okay. And so me, you know me a little bit. I'm kind of like a conspiracy type of person. And I do have a little bit of trust issues. When I first saw it, I was like, this looks like a plot line for a podcast. Now, I appreciate everything he said. He said the politically correct things to say, but it had me thinking like, was he saying it to fall into the good graces of certain audiences? Or is this what he really means? I mean, I appreciate the conversation. Someone has to say something to, what would you say, check people when they're wrong.
Yeah.
But I just was, I was side eyeing him for
Mm-hmm.
being the one to do it. It just looked like a setup to me.
Got you.
But I appreciated the conversation.
Yeah. Do you think he so you're saying you think it was more like on Logan Paul's side to kind of rebrand his image a little bit to kind of.
That's what I was thinking because I didn't understand, like most people who have podcasts, like the way the conversation went down, it was like, he's not a man. What do you mean he's not a man? Don't you think a man should be comfortable in his skin? It was kind of like, it didn't seem like an authentic conversation to me. It just kind of seemed like, let me get some press and promotion and say some of the right things. Now, I appreciate him saying the right things because people do need to be checked in that manner. I just was side-eyeing it coming from Logan Paul. Sometimes you side-eye the messenger.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that would I be fair in saying Marcus or Brandon, jump in here, but that sentiment is kind of shared that you're kind of still side-eyeing Logan Paul, regardless of what he said.
I wasn't aware of him before this, so I mean, I could absolutely get that though. I think because we talked about before though, kind of like giving people the space or the grace or whatever to change, and you're kind of like, is this genuine? Is this not? So I absolutely get that.
What about you, Marcus? What are you thinking?
The comment saying, a broke clock is right twice a day. I always add on to them, but you'd be a fool to try to tell time by that. So I'm like, yeah, he said something nice and that's cute, but he ain't said nothing that other people haven't said 1,000 times before. Mm-hmm. And I actually really agree with, I'm gonna say, with the idea that this could be like some rebranding thing, because I kind of thought of that too. I was like, this seems like too much of a easy home run. Like, and I haven't heard of you since all that foolishness went down, and this is what you come back with. I don't know.
Well, okay. So first of all, I personally don't know whether it was him or whether it was his brother, because I know him and his brother do kind of the same thing. I know he has a brother, so I don't know who did what. But
I didn't know he had a brother.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, wait, was he the one with the? So I don't know, but
what's his brother's name?
It's Jake Paul, I think.
See, I haven't heard that name. Okay. The only reason I was saying that because I know I've heard the name Logan Paul, and I've never heard of his brother, so I would venture to say that it was him, but who knows?
Mm-hmm. I would say that the thing is, I don't know whether he's had the space to actually speak on these issues before, so I kind of give him a little bit of credit for kind of speaking up because he was saying the right thing. And then I think also in the same show there was another clip where he was talking about how white people have to stand up to racism, and they can't just be non-racist, they have to be anti-racist, they have to be active in that anti-racism. So I mean, there was so what's the reaction there? Because I feel like maybe that for some of us, I feel like Angie, maybe you felt like hearing what I just said, that you're like, okay, well, you give him a little bit of credit, but I'm seeing Marcus and Brandon, and I feel like they're side-eyeing him even more.
I was listening. I promise I was listening.
I give the conversation credit. Like, okay, it's good to have those type of conversations. I am side-eyeing the messenger. And because I had to look it all, like I heard of Logan Paul, but the only thing I've heard of I can recall is problematic. I never heard anything good about him, but I'm also not in his demographic of followers. So I just side-eyed the messenger because the conversation just didn't feel true to me. It just seemed like, get on here, say some problematic stuff, and let me correct you, and let it be a viral talking point.
I'm seeing from LT Willio on YouTube. Hello. The Pauls in general have been privileged trash. Hopefully he's learned something in COVID. I'm also seeing on Twitter that at love_eternal saying he was racist as hell when visiting Japan, and I don't forgive anything right now. So
we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of people are feeling what you guys are saying. But I want to talk more about this this conversation. Like, why did the host immediately go to like this gaslighting place? Because I feel like they immediately lost the argument with his rebuttal, and then they immediately went to, you're just being combative. And I felt like, I just felt like, it's not so hard to just take a breath and just be like, you know what, you're right. Or, maybe I don't feel that right now, but I have some growth to do. I just would respect that a little bit more than immediately getting on the defensive when there's really no other avenue for you to go if you're being called out as basically a bigot,
And that's what made it seem more fake to me, because if someone calls you out on something in 2020, the average person who is sane would be like, oh, at least check themselves. Even if they really felt that way, they would at least check themselves on their platform to be like, okay, let me take this conversation down another road so I don't get canceled. But it was like he kept fueling it so he could keep saying more of the right things. And I was like, no, this seems kind of staged to me.
Right. Now, the other thing that I wanted to bring up, because we are going to be talking about, like, I think a big theme of today's show, period, is going to be about the difference between white media outlets versus Black media outlets. And I don't necessarily see this conversation going this way in a Black media outlet like the Breakfast Club, for instance. I see maybe if we had like a celebrity on the Breakfast Club talking about this issue, then they would be like, well, yeah, that's really, it's not, they would be agreeing with the host saying it's not manly and blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, there's a better chance of that happening. What do you think, how do you think this would go if this were a conversation in a Black space?
I think it really depends on probably like we said, the host. Like, we know the Breakfast Club is going to fuel the trash. That's part of their brand, part of their going viral or whatever else. Because sometimes I even question how much of their ignorance they really believe. Because sometimes they're just so far to the left of craziness. Whereas I think somebody else will be more understanding or seeking to at least understand the person on the show, versus just attacking, even if they don't initially get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But which side are we giving to the Black, I guess, guests? Are they saying that it's manly, or are they saying that it's unmanly?
Well, I think I would say, like, if there was let's just say, what's his name? What is this guy's name? I just forgot his name. Logan Paul.
White man Logan Paul.
If there was a Black Logan Paul who was, on I just feel like it's reinforced. I feel like if everything, you changed it all to Blackness, and you have the straight Black man on this show, most times I feel like they would go and say, they would agree with the host and say, yeah, that's not really, I wouldn't be doing that, blah, blah, blah. You can't, I don't know.
I think it might be like, I think it might be like she said as well, though, like, because 2020. So I feel like even the sometimes the host will be like, okay, you're wrong, but we're gonna try to walk you back down or try to help you out so that you don't look further crazy, or so they don't, at least they themselves don't look crazy on their platform.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it would be a topic of conversation. Like, I don't think anyone would have brought that up on a Black media outlet.
No.
Because we know how a lot of Black males feel about, what do you want to call it, their
masculinity.
Masculinity, their securities. They probably wouldn't even go there with the, it wouldn't even be a topic of discussion, I don't think.
Well, okay, so that brings up, because, I mean, did we talk about, what was the rapper that had the dress on the album cover or something?
Young Thug.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, Young Thug. Okay.
Yeah. So was that a conversation in these spaces, or did they just kind of skirt that under the rug because they didn't?
I feel like it was, because it was a pretty big thing, but I can't remember what the conversation was. But I do feel like it was everywhere.
I feel like if I'm like, there were some spaces like the Breakfast Club who was just like, what the hell is going on? But I feel like a lot of spaces were, they had kind of gotten used to that, because him having the dress on the album cover wasn't the first time he had done something like that. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people kind of like accept, like, that's just him, that's just Young Thug, and kind of moved on with it from there. It was only the people who thrive off the trash who was like, oh my God, let's talk about this.
Yeah, I think there was more of a conversation about it not being as much of a conversation. Actually, now I think about it, because I think a lot of people were upset that, like, it was, I guess, largely ignored. Whereas if it would have been, I guess, a gay man or whatever else, there would have been a much larger kind of a thing. I think so.
But do you think it needs to be a conversation at this point, like, to me, in 2020? Because to me, it's not a big deal. Because a lot of entertainers, rappers, singers, what do they call it? Androgynous, where they like the feminine style clothing. And it's nothing wrong with it. And a lot of, the hardest ones that want to say some homophobic stuff wear androgynous type clothing. They just don't put on a skirt. Like, is that the only difference, is the skirt?
I'm sure.
Yeah. But I don't think it needs to be a conversation, to be quite honest. I mean, I think we're at the point now where somebody can do
what you want to do.
Right. And we can be cool,
I think
when you force people to have a conversation, you can force people to say something that I guess they don't intend to really say. Like, to me, most people are like, do you? Wear what you want to wear. Express yourself. I don't feel like there should have to be a conversation, because, I mean, if we be real about it, most men are going to say they don't want to put on no dress. And they just feel that way. So why make them say that when you could just be like, do you?
Yeah.
We don't care if you wear a dress. I was more offended by the dress he had on. I was like, those are ugly dresses. If you're going to be on Vogue wearing a dress, put on something cute. What do you have on?
But yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I think that these conversations, maybe not the masculinity part needs to be had, but we still are absolutely going to talk about what you have on, like on an album cover, on a red carpet, you know what I'm saying? Like Billy Porter. We're going to discuss these things,
He slays it. Now he slays it. So
okay,
he has some wins. He has some misses, but
confidence.
Yeah. But I want to ask you guys. This is my last question in this topic. I want to do some personal reflection. Would you ever date a man who dressed in women's clothing?
Maybe not every day.
Okay, if they didn't wear women's clothing like all the time, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's the thing. Like, not maybe not every day.
But I think too. I think like she was just saying though. I think a lot of men though do, especially now, wear certain things that are, again, it's just not a dress or a skirt.
Yeah.
But they might wear women's jeans, and you don't know unless they tell you.
Because they just skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I think for me, I guess I would. It would just kind of depend on how they put it together, and I don't know. I mean, I guess you kind of get into a conversation about masculinity versus femininity, what you're attracted to. Like, at least for us, Angie, are you Straight?
A straight woman.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get my husband out the '90s, child. He still look like he in a Diddy video back in the '90s. I'm trying to get him out of that. I know my husband would never wear a dress. But I wish y'all could see his closet. It really looks. It's all Timberlands, all baggy jeans, all puffy vests. So I would love for him to experiment with style, and I don't have a problem with it. Now, a question I have as a straight woman for you gentlemen, just because I'm curious, even though that you all are gay and you are attracted to men, are you still attracted to masculine men? Like, would a man in a dress be considered more of a feminine? And would you be attracted to someone who is more feminine?
I can answer this. I feel like I would be. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at these comments. They are like yelling at me to like get my attention. I'll get into y'all in a second. I promise. But I would be more attracted. Like, if you're gonna wear women's clothes, I would want you to be a little bit more masculine. Personally,
what does that look like though?
I've seen guys wear, like pearl necklaces and stuff, and they're like really like buff, and like it's a different kind of vibe. Like, they're like this masculine dude, but they just have like a little softness to them or whatever. So that wouldn't bother me so much. A dress, I don't know if I'm into the dress and the heels type of guy. I feel like I am kind of in that in-between space of masculine and feminine a little bit. So I can also be with somebody who's kind of in that in-between space. But I think most gay men kind of favor masculinity over femininity just because of society and how we're conditioned, So I think that that's also some stuff that we kind of have to work through. But anybody else?
I know he was about to go on, that's why. So I think I'm pretty similar, I guess. Definitely in someone who's more in the middle. I think someone though who is comfortable with their femininity or able to embrace it. But I don't know the women's clothing, like I said, though, an everyday thing. I don't know, or even I may hear like a skirt or a dress maybe here or there, but the heels thing, I don't know if I would be okay with that. Like, but also know too, a lot of more men now are like painting their nails, and so that doesn't bother me. It's just I think it also just really depends on the person too. Because I think for me, like femininity, and might be a stereotype, whatever, it's very like put together. So you can't be out here like half-assing it if that's what you're doing. To me.
Okay.
Yeah. I think mainly similar, but I'm trying to think like I'm trying to put myself in a situation and see would that bother me, and I don't think it necessarily would. My only thing is like I guess kind of like that last thing you said, Brandon, was like if you're gonna do it, you gotta look good. Like, don't come out here with the Jaden Smith, them ugly grandma dresses. Like, don't do that. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. But yeah, I don't think it would bother me, because as long as this comes off later on, then we can rock.
What's the dress? You just lift it on up. You ain't gotta take it off.
The accents. Jesus. Okay, so we're gonna move. We're gonna move into our next topic because it's already 1:30 and we're getting to our second topic now. So we might have to, if you guys want to stick with us, we might have to just extend this episode a little bit longer. But we're gonna talk about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion real quick.
Ooh.
So this week, the cast of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunited to talk about the beloved 90s sitcom and some behind-the-scenes moments that many viewers were not privy to. There was no shortage of laughter, tears, and even some drama. So guys, aside from the Janet Hubert discussion, which we'll get into in a moment, what stuck out to you about this reunion? Brandon, do you have anything like real quick, maybe just like off the top of your head, anything that's
they were black. And no, but I mean, seriously, in a way, I think that a lot of black shows, they either, get canceled or end prematurely, whatever, and they hardly if ever get this type of retrospective, this type of like celebration. I know a big part of it is because it is very mainstream, but I did really enjoy seeing black people be able to do this, like a black cast.
Yes. Yes. And I guess to add on to that, like I watched Fresh Prince, as it was on, but I don't think I really understood just how big it was. And I think that something that stuck out to me was me really coming to terms with just how major this show was. Like I think they said it was one of 3 black shows on TV at the time.
I need to like fact check that, but yeah.
Me too, but
yeah, because
I'll take their word for it.
Black shows.
Maybe they meant on like network
Big 3
TV.
network. I think
maybe
so.
network. They not counting UPN
At all.
Angie, did you get a chance to watch it? Dash of the Reunion?
I watched it and I enjoyed it. That was one of the main things that stuck out to me, that it was a black show. The first thing I thought of is I would like to see more black shows like Martin. I think A Different World did it, but like more black shows do this on their 25, 30-year anniversary.
At this
and
level.
then the main thing, because I really only watched it for the Janet section, but I appreciated how Will told the story of how he got the audition and the show in like 6 weeks. That amazed me. I was like, wow, like that was unheard of.
Yeah. I thought they had a lot of good moments there. Yeah.
And how they showed the clips of Will mouthing the lines. Those first few episodes. I can't believe I never noticed that. Like as a casual watcher, I never noticed that, and it was clear as day.
Like now, I want to go back and look at them episodes.
The first 2 episodes, yeah.
The one thing that I noticed was that I never knew before, and I feel like I don't know if I'm crazy, but Jazzy Jeff getting thrown out the door was always the same clip. I never realized that.
And always the same shirt. I never
always
noticed
the same
that.
Shirt.
Never.
I never knew that. I always thought it was I thought it was a different thing, So that was interesting. And I thought, how emotional it was. I got emotional with all the rest of them talking about how, they were together for so long and then they had to break up. And of course, the James Avery
absolutely
moment that they had there. And just, him talking about how important their work was and the shoulders that they stood on to get there and to push it forward. I thought that was very special. Yeah. But I want to ask about the conversation that Will Smith had with Janet Hubert. What did you guys think about that conversation?
At first I thought it was very short. I was like, that's all you're gonna show us? Like, because I was watching it, I was like, it's only an hour, 15 minutes or whatever. And I was like, okay, we 35, we 40 minutes in. Is she coming?
Right.
Like, did she only come at the end? Like,
and that's what we really wanted to see. That's what
and they knew it
for.
And they knew it. That's why they put it at the end.
Right.
But because I also feel like too, I was like, it almost felt unfair for her to come so late as well. I thought it would be nice for her to be there for the Uncle Phil part.
From the beginning.
Because
she started the show. She should have been there from the beginning to reminisce with everyone else and then, do their little separate segment at the end.
Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
I'm seeing our comments. Racine, hello. I see it says the Janet movement was so moving for me. What am I seeing? Janet and Will had more that needed to be said. From Remedy is saying that, and yeah, I mean, I think there was more there. There was more that had to be said, but there was also the red table talk that Will Smith did. And I think, and I don't know whether that. I think what they were trying to tease basically what was in the red table talk, because I watched that afterwards.
Me too.
And that was a longer.
I'm confused. There was a red table talk with Janet.
It was just Will, but it showed more of their conversation with each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
it provided a lot more context.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, they said a lot but said nothing. Like they didn't really say. Like they both took blame, but they didn't really say what they did. Because I just recall Janet said they both said a lot of hurtful things about each other in the media, and they never really touched on it. But I appreciated the closure and the healing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting, and I also thought, Will Smith, kind of, he opened up a lot. You could see that there was a lot of psychological stuff going on in his brain when that whole thing happened, when he spoke to the press about her being difficult or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I just felt so bad. I felt so bad for Janet that, that was the result of
absolutely
everything You know, hopefully this is a new start for her and for, you know, for her career. If she
I
I
hope
don't know if
so
she's still
too.
acting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Somebody
think
said she
here
had
and
been in like
there,
yeah.
but which is so wild to me because I'm like, this is literally 27 years ago. Like, what are you, if this is your life's work, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? What have
Yeah.
you done the past? I don't know.
But
I
she
think I'd still be
said,
mad.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
would
know.
be too, but I kind of, because I was watching, who was I watching? Funky Dineva. That's what I was watching when he spoke on it. And he said, you know, she really didn't get fired. She walked away from a contract that she didn't feel she was worthy of. But at the time, if you have a newborn baby and a husband that's not working, some contract is better than none.
But
Now,
that was the part that confused me too, though, because she said the bad contract was for season 3, and they just
mhm,
replaced her for season 4. So I need a little more clarification about that.
Okay.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
mean,
I thought it
okay,
was
so
she could have
after.
missed. Yeah, I thought that was her contract going into season 4, and she said
Yeah.
no, thank you.
I
And
understood it going into season 3.
Um,
I don't know what season it was, but but to I guess counter I guess a little bit of what
Yeah.
Funky Dineva may have said about that. Um, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, you know, the thing is, you don't think if you turn that down that that's your only gig.
yeah.
You know what
Option.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
true,
so the thing
coming
that
off a
happened
hit
is
show,
that
yeah.
she could go to some other show, she could find some more work, but then Will stepped in and said what he said, and then it was like she
Everything.
lost
Hmm.
everything.
I can
And
see that
then
too.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say, and then you also have to kind of factor in that, you know, that I'm pretty sure that's how these negotiations go. You be like, I'm pretty sure she didn't think that they would have been able to replace her. So she was probably like
Right.
trying to play
Mm-hmm.
hardball, be like, no, I'm not gonna take this trash contract. Like you got to give me something better. I am Aunt Viv, you know, like I'm a
Yeah.
main cast member.
Character.
And it just didn't pan out that way.
Racine saying she is still acting. She is an acclaimed Broadway actress. And Remedy is saying, Jarrod, your skin is glowing. So thank you, boo boo. So we are going to move into our next topic. We're going to talk about the Breakfast Club and Meg the Stallion.
Okay.
In a recent episode of the Breakfast Club, the hosts briefly discussed Meg the Stallion's explanation of her feelings in the aftermath of being shot in a GQ article. Meg was supposed to appear on the Breakfast Club, but her team allegedly had a long list of things they could not ask her about, specifically relating to the shooting incident. The conversation turned into criticism of her being open to talk about anything to white publications, but being more closed off to Black media outlets. So, Brandon, I saw your reaction. I want to start with you. What do you think about this? And do you think it's true? Do you think it's true that Meg's team had different rules for white and Black outlets, and then do they have a legitimate reason for that?
I believe they had a long list of rules for the Breakfast Club because of
Oof,
how the
yes.
Breakfast Club treats their celebrity guests. I've
Mhm.
noticed that the Breakfast Club in general, they didn't like know who to play with and who not to play with. Like, for example, like if an actor's coming to promote their art or you know what I'm saying, their movie or their show, they normally only go but so far. But like all these reality stars, all of these singers, these rappers, whatever, they're going to go as far as they possibly can, bring up the worst news that's like going out now. They're going to try to get all of the dirt, embarrass you,
Mhm.
whatever. That's just who they are. So I absolutely believe that they said, no, we're not talking about this on the Breakfast Club, which I think is fair. It's well within her right. And if she wanted to discuss things in her way with GQ, because we don't know what limitations she gave GQ as well.
Right.
Because
Right.
that's like PR, like you are publicist or whatever. Like you send out, this is what we're gonna talk about. This is not what we're gonna talk about, and then they decide either you're gonna come on or you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're well within your right to do that as a celebrity. And they've been doing radio long enough, so I know they know that. Most rappers probably just don't give them a list or they ignore the list.
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
confused.
Angie, did you have anything to add?
Well, I felt like he hit the nail on the head when he said how they treat some artists. I don't see it as a Black, radio publication versus a
Hmm.
white. How about how the what are they called? The Breakfast Club treats their black guests versus their white
Mhm.
guests. They will completely trash people. I mean, and I like the Breakfast Club, don't get me wrong, but sometimes they take it a step too far. And I don't blame Meg for sending them a list, and we're not going to talk about this, especially Charlemagne, who probably had a list of jokes ready to go. And she's releasing an album. That's what she wants to talk about. She said
Exactly.
all she had to say on the very first song of her album. Listen to that if you want to know what I got to say
Okay.
about that shit.
Okay. Wait, where'd she go? Mic drop.
Look back.
I'm sorry.
Marcus.
And let's move
Well,
on.
she went. I don't think she was finished.
Oh, were you? I'm sorry, Angie. Did you
No,
have more to
I
say?
thought I had my iPad on Do Not Disturb, but somehow a phone call slipped through and I had to click
It's
it
all
off real
good.
quick.
It's all
But that's
good.
that's pretty much what I had to say. Like when he said that, I was like, that's exactly what it is. Like,
Mhm.
and what artist doesn't? Like Wendy Williams says it all the time. Her favorite guests are the ones who say no questions. Majority of people send you a list of things of what you can ask and what you
Mhm.
cannot. So don't act like it's something brand new or it's a snub. Everyone does it. You just chose that, oh, I can't ask Meg this. Okay, well, forget her. You really snubbed her. She didn't snub you. You just said no, thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Period.
Um, let me. I had something else here. You okay? So there was a video that I saw on YouTube by T Noir. I feel like she did a fantastic video about what
I
many
like
Black gossip sites do when talking about tough issues. That link is in the description on the YouTube video. She says they often uphold the limited views of one celebrity or derail a conversation to its most base arguments and choose
Mhm.
not to have mind expanding
Mm-hmm.
conversations.
Mhm.
Um, now, I don't think this is to put white gossip publications up on a pedestal because they do the same type of thing, but they rarely get
Absolutely.
into
Indeed.
interrogation mode like they do on the Breakfast Club. You know what I'm saying? So that was my own opinion thrown in there with what she was saying.
Yeah.
Um,
And I feel like it's especially different because when you go to black things, they'll a lot of times feel like they can go there with you because you black and they're black or what have you.
Mhm.
And then a lot of these people, well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but a decent amount of these people, they feel like they can go there with them because they're like, where else are you gonna go? Like,
Mhm.
we're the only place where you're gonna get this type of publicity, so you got to sit here and take it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And that's my issue too with the Breakfast Club is like they're extremely popular. Like I'm not, they can get on my nerves, so I don't really listen to them for real. But I will definitely
That's
watch an interview with somebody that I want to see. Normally not a singer like a music artist because I know that'll be crazy. But like normally an actor or somebody, I don't watch those because it's a huge platform. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't with them kind of.
mhm.
so real quick, Meg Thee Stallion just released a new album, Good News.
Mhm.
Can we
Mhm.
talk about that, Marcus? I know this is your girl, so
Mhm.
please give us what's the verdict on this album?
Okay. So here's the
Oh goodness.
thing.
Oh goodness.
I think we have to accept that I think for most artists, the art of putting together an album just ain't there.
Ooh.
Hmm.
That's not to say that there are not good songs on here because there are,
Mhm.
body yada 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 yada. But I think for me, when I was listening to it, like I look for like cohesion and I look for like a kind of like a vibe. And there were a couple of songs that just kind of just threw off the vibe completely.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple of songs I was like, okay, this is cute, but it's not, it's not to the level to where a lot of the songs on her mixtapes and things were.
Mhm.
Um, I think it was cute. It was good. It'll do. Is it like a masterpiece? Is it, is it even an album I think that will convert like new fans? Maybe not. But it was cute for a first album, You can only go up from there.
Okay. Any other thoughts, Brandon or Angie?
I think
Oh.
well you go ahead. No, you go ahead. It's fine.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think Meg is at the point now where she makes like TikTok music, where she has a good beat and a good, what do they call it, hook, where
Mm-hmm.
people on TikTok can come up with dances and memes and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Because that's where I first heard a lot of the songs was just scrolling through TikTok. But I agree with you because like the first song, Shots Fired, I was here for it. I was like, okay, she's she dead in the issue, saying her 2 cents. She done with it. I was like, okay, this is hot. And then the rest of it just started sounding the same, not really talking about anything. I said, okay, this is some cute workout music. You know, if I'm doing a little thing around the house, put in my headphones. But it's not an album where I'm really going to go quoting lyrics because I didn't, outside of Shots Fired, I didn't really hear anything. The rest was like TikTok music. Let's make a cute dance routine and move on. And I noticed a lot, and I could be the oldest person. I don't mind. A lot of artists nowadays are taking good old 90s hits. Like I heard that Freak song. And the only reason I like a lot of the music now is because you're using the same beats
samples
from my high school days. So I'm like, oh, but you really ain't talking about nothing. I just recognize that tune and I'm into it. And so that's what a lot of it felt like too.
Yeah,
I can see that.
There's a lot of samples. Like there was a Jasmine Sullivan sample in there, and I was kind of taken aback by that.
Circles.
Yes.
See, at first I was like, is this Mariah Carey Circles? But I was like, that's not Mariah. That was that was Jasmine Sullivan. Okay.
I think for me, I can absolutely understand what they're saying. I enjoyed it, but I think it was more of the same from what we've already gotten, and not in a bad way. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think it's like, I think people really want your first album to like wow us. We have these mixtapes that we've enjoyed. It's been this really popular music, so now you have to take it up. And I feel like she was just like, I've done these mixtapes. I'm gonna do this album. Like it's all right here, and you need to constantly be like progressing. Like your Body Adi Adi is very catchy. It's very popular. Again, it's that TikTok dance, the challenge. So that's gonna go. But I think the 3 other singles from the album have already been huge, and it's like almost like there's nothing else from this.
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
Okay, hold up 1 second. Correct me. I like to be corrected. This is her first album. I could have swore she had an album. Meg is doing good because I could have swore she had an album before this.
I think
had a lot of
what was it,
songs.
Realer or something was supposed to be an album, but I think the last minute they said it's gonna be a mixtape. Was
it Realer?
Was that the album?
I thought that was Fever. I thought Fever was supposed to be an album.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Fever.
I think you're right.
Album, and then like 2 weeks out, they were like, "Oh no, this is a mixtape," and we like,
"Yep."
Excuse me.
I do want to say something like kind of jumping off of what Brandon just said about your album versus your mixtapes. Like, I hate to do the comparisons, but I think about like what Nicki and Cardi did. Like, you know, they had mixtapes, they had, you know, singles, promotional songs, what have you, that were popping. But when it came time for their albums, you know, when you get the Invasion of Privacy and, you know, that original Pink Friday, you know, you get that next level. You know, you get the cohesion, you get kind of like the storytelling, you get the experimentation. And I don't necessarily think Megan did that. Does she need to? You know, that varies. But I think the fact remains that she kind of stayed in that little lane.
Yeah, but that's what I would argue too, that, and no slight to Nicki or Cardi, but Megan prior to her album was already more famous than both of them were before their album. And so it's like, but it kind of goes with what you're saying. It's like you still need to like capitalize on that. You can't just meet us there because you're already there. You know, like their albums push them. Oh, because most people don't know Cardi's mixtape stuff.
Right. A lot of people don't know Nicki's mixtapes.
Right.
Exactly. So
I'm looking at the comments. I'm seeing, you know, LT Willio is loving the album. He also says, you know, folks make compilations to stream and not albums to experience. So yeah, that's also a good point there. I'm going to move into our last topic. We have these housewives that have been making headlines yet again. So let's first do the Housewives of Potomac. So they are known for their fashion, and not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Oh no!
Sorry, I was about to say.
When the reunion looks hit the internet, many responded with confusion and harsh criticism. So let's add to that. So I have. I have a slideshow. Hey.
Yay.
Get excited. Yes.
I can't.
So,
do you have the group photo or no?
I don't have the group photo. I just have the individual photos. So first we have Giselle. she is wearing, and I'm going to say this for the podcast, I'm going to describe this for the podcast viewers. She's got bright yellow with I don't know what you call this, an applique or some kind of a silver shoulder.
Come on,
Rhinestones.
What'd you say?
I said rhinestones.
Rhinestones, yes, she's got rhinestones. And like a one shoulder long sleeve dress. What are we rating? What are we giving Giselle? What are we rating her from 0 to 10?
And she the one that
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, ain't she the one that Karen was like, she cannot dress at all?
This is
This
a good day for her.
It is. It's
I'll give her a 6.
Yeah.
I'll be nice today.
Angie, because I know you went through this on your YouTube channel actually, and I
did.
Yeah, I think I linked it. If I didn't link it, it will be there soon. But please.
Number one, I blame Andy. Yellow is an awful color to give any woman, black, white, I don't care what nationality you are. It's a hard color to pull off in the gown. The only one I seen do it well was Kenya.
Okay.
This dress is awful. It doesn't highlight anything that is, an asset of Giselle. Number one, she gets points taken off because we've seen this dress before a million times, like 10 years ago. She gets points taken off for that. She looks bloated. It's the wrong shade of yellow. She has on way too many rings. You don't need on that many rings, especially if you don't have the ring. So I don't like Giselle at all.
Oh, me neither. Cheers.
She's the person who can make me stop watching the whole show. And like some people hate Kenya. Like I dislike Giselle that much times 10.
Okay. I'm kind of with you on that. I'm not really a Giselle fan, to be quite honest. I am just grateful that we have Karen there to balance her out because,
praise God,
my gosh, I don't know if I could watch Potomac.
I will say one thing: she don't look the worst. I'll give her that. She ain't the worst dress.
today.
No.
Right today.
But I do want to, because I was asking about the group photo, because the group photo came out first, and I feel like they all look worse in the group photo. I don't know if it was the lighting or whatever. I was like, all of y'all look a hot mess. And then individually,
I was different
like,
shades of yellow. It's too many different shades of yellow. It's an awful color for a reunion.
Yeah.
Awful.
Let me get into the next one. We have Ashley.
We're gonna talk about the pregnant woman. This is not fair. This is not fair.
I did say Ashley got a pass for being pregnant until I saw Monique and Portia. They slayed it when they was pregnant. So what? And Ashley, where your rich husband at? He can buy you no dress.
Oh, he probably bought that one.
That looks poor Ashley.
Part of me feels like if she weren't pregnant, I feel like maybe the dress would be a little bit nicer to look at. I'm trying to give her. Y'all are like, no. All right.
Marcus,
we're not like Ashley's dress.
No.
Because the dress is ugly. Like this trim is taking me out. Like what is this Batwing
like
trim? Like
I
can't.
I just think that was themed reunion like to Portugal, because that's where it went this season. So I think that's what the theme is supposed to be. I think.
I'm sorry.
Yellow
I'm dying
color
at
in
these
Portugal.
Comments.
I don't.
And now look now. Don't make
I'm gonna say is this splash of grandma blankets something from Portugal? Because I don't. Y'all know that look like that blanket that be on your grandma's bed. You know it do.
It
do.
A quilted one.
Somebody pregnant.
Man,
I'm not talking about her pregnant. I'm talking about the dress.
The comments are tablecloth, Party City.
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Chiquita Banana.
Lord.
All right, so we're gonna move on. Candace.
That bow bigger than her. No.
We are not feeling Candace, huh?
Well,
it's not yellow.
If it was a different color, like if that was an all black ensemble, that might have been cute. But the two different colors throws me.
Okay, I'm not too mad at Candace's outfit though. I think it's cute. I don't know. I mean, and I'm not a Candace fan, but I don't think the dress is too bad.
Yes, it is.
Her makeup is.
I mean, it's very on brand for her, honestly. Because she normally does the most at the reunion, so that's very on
That's
brand.
She does.
It looked like she tied the tablecloth, and the other one looked like curtains. And I say that specifically because it looks like two different pieces. Like she said, "Oh, this bow is gonna kill him. Oh shit, what am I put on my legs?" And she wrapped the tablecloth around her.
I wonder if Dorothy bought that.
She did.
Probably. So then we have
My girl.
our girl Karen. Now,
I need that
look,
him to be a little bit shorter now. I'm about to see too much now.
I don't know if I'm feeling this one personally, because like you said, Angie, I'm looking at your name, kiss my cheeks. But the extra bit of fabric over there is not really working for me. I feel like had that been just a clean line, maybe. But how were you
I
feeling?
think the dress would have been cute if she would have wore that all the way to the floor. It needed to be all the way to the floor and different hair. I don't like the long blonde ponytail. So that's her color blonde. I like that color on her. And then I don't like that pastel shade of yellow. But she should have put that all the way to the floor and not had that leg out. You can still be sexy covered. And that's what's wrong with a lot of ladies. They feel like, oh, I got to put my leg out. No, you can still be sexy with a gown all the way to the floor.
I'm seeing mosquito nets as one of the comments. They are tearing these girls up in the comments. Mama Shay said of Candace with the bow that she's a champagne bottle.
We're not gonna sell champagne like that.
They were set up. I'm telling you, this color yellow set them all up.
Really?
It was a setup from the beginning.
So we've got Wendy.
I don't like her hair. I'm not mad at the dress. I don't like her hair.
Okay. I'm not mad at the hair. The dress, I don't know.
I'm trying to understand.
I'm like on the fence with it.
They do all have this one leg out though. Was that part of the requirement too?
Yeah, all the dresses are asymmetrical, but I'm trying to understand it. Has it like on the other side? Has it like fallen down? Is it supposed to be over the shoulder?
It
looks like that.
I think they're both like a shoulder cut. I don't know. Angie.
Outside of Ashley's and she get a pass for being pregnant, Wendy is the worst dress. That dress is awfully ugly. It is the extreme wrong shade of yellow for her. The diamond appliques makes it even worse. It makes it look cheap. It looks very promish of the 80s, King Sierra-ish, with that ruffle slit, one sleeve, if you do a close-up of Wendy, of just her hair and her makeup, she slayed it. She slayed that hair and that makeup, but that dress can go. It will be ugly in any color. I don't like it.
Well, there it is.
So here we have Robin. So real quickly, I think
plain as usual.
I think a lot of people are thinking she's the best dressed.
Who?
I've heard a lot of best dressed comments from her. I guess just based by comparison of everybody else. That's all
Off of comparison, I said Robin had the best shade of yellow. That shade of yellow could work with a lot of skin tones. And the simpleness of it. And you see, she got her leg out. She's almost like, I will give it to Monique, but she's second. Just for being simple, she's second.
So then we have our last one, Monique. This is my personal favorite of the looks. I think I don't know. Did we all agree on that?
I like Karen's the most.
You like Karen's the most. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Do you notice a lot of the ladies have this one strap coming from the neck as well? Like, is that something new in fashion?
I don't know what's going on in the fashion world. I've been out of that lane for a while. I'm focused on myself these days. But yeah, I know apparently it was part of the memo.
To me, this is what money looks like. You say, go get a awfully ugly yellow dress. That's what money goes and gets. So where's you ladies' money that you claim y'all have?
So we lost Marcus. I don't know what happened. I guess he'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
But let me jump into, because I also wanted to talk about, let me get this off the screen.
But are we ready for the reunion though? Have we been enjoying the season as you get that other thing ready?
And I'm ready for the reunion for sure.
I'm ready for the reunion. They said Giselle is in the hot seat.
She needs to be good.
Yes. But I also wanted to talk about, like, we know how we talked about the read sessions. I want to say a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Nene released her dream cast of the read session, saying she'd love to have Phaedra Parks, Boozy, and Tokyo Vanity as co-hosts, and a revolving door for any gay man. So, I mean, I don't know Boozy all that well. I've just heard comments of him being homophobic and maybe Tokyo Vanity being homophobic, and why then would you have a revolving door for a gay
I don't
host?
think Tokyo Vanity is.
I don't think she's that bad. I don't think, from what I know, what little bit I know about her.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it was just a weird thing, and then we have Claudia Jordan coming up behind that with her show that is very similar in my opinion, called TGIF. So it's on Fridays, but it's like the T, get the TGIF. She's doing that with Al Reynolds, Gary with the T, and Funky
Dineva.
Yeah. Here Marcus is, I think, coming back in a second. So I thought it was a little bit hypocritical. I don't know if you guys have seen the clip, but Funky Dineva was talking about how Nene was using the gays for the show and all that stuff. And I put the link in the description of that video if you want to go check it out. But now he's on this one with Claudia Jordan, and it's like the same concept. I got some pushback from some people online when I stated this on Twitter, but I really don't see a difference between the two, quite honestly. So I was just curious what your guys' thoughts on that was. If you
I didn't realize. I guess I didn't realize it was a whole show with Claudia, because I know she does a lot of different things. I didn't realize these men were a new thing with her. But I think he also kind of defended that in the sense of that Nene's using these men, these much younger men, she just found off the street or whatever else, to prop her up. Whereas I think that these men on Claudia's show, they're probably going to have more well-rounded discussions. I think they'll probably cover hot topics, but also cover different things. I don't think it'll just be like, oh, let's read you down, let's like drag you. It'll be, let's be some adults having conversations, and three of us happen to be gay men or LGBTQ, because I don't know if Al is gay, but
yeah,
I think he said he was bi.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I just said I think that Al said he was bi.
Oh, okay. My thing was, I don't know. Wait, what did you just say, Brandon? Because I got distracted.
No, I was just saying, I think this one is different because they're not like propping Claudia up. It's like three men who happen to be gay versus they're there solely for them being gay.
Yeah. So as far as the reading part, getting people solely to just read them down, I don't know if that was necessarily the case with Nene's show. I know it's called the read sessions, but I think they're kind of doing basically what we're doing now. I mean, based on what I've seen, they weren't just, saying a whole bunch of horrible things about, one specific person, or at least that wasn't the sense that I got from when I watched it. I know that that's what a lot of people thought it was going to be. I don't think that would fly. I mean, I don't know. I personally thought that they were doing basically what we're doing on this show. And then also to your point that Nene was bringing on a lot of these younger gay men to kind of just prop her up. I felt that, in the industry, when you're in charge of the show, there's always going to be that hierarchy anyway. So whether it's Claudia with these three or whether it's Nene with whomever she picks, there's always going to be a little bit of curtailing to the host. But we didn't see a whole lot of them saying yes, Nene, yes, all that stuff in the thing that we got even. So I don't know whether that really stands. Go ahead, Marcus.
I think that there is a kind of a bit of a difference, and I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with being young. I think it's just a fact of like the difference in sort of like influence. Like Nene is Nene. You pick a random three gays off the streets, and if they don't work out, you toss them out and pick another random three. I think in this situation with Claudia, even though I don't think it should be a show, but to be honest, I think this situation is still a bit different because these are three established folk. This isn't, even if they're sort of propping up Claudia because it's her show, like if she was like, okay, this show is over, these three men got other stuff they can do versus, you picking up these random three gays in Nene's case, and you're trying to get them to be your yes people, whether they be, whether they be older or not. The fact still remains that you just picked up these three people, like you said, to kind of to prop you up, to make you better. And they can't, like, if you throw them away, they have nothing else to fall back on.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I guess, Angie, did you have anything else to add to that before we sign off?
First, that first round of Nene's The Reading Session, it just wasn't funny or entertaining. When she came with her second round of who her dream cast would be, the first thing I said was, what happened to Phaedra's law degree? Like, she doesn't have anything else better to do. I think it's very hypocritical of Nene to say she was doing this for her gay fans because the gays like her. But then you go get the most controversial, toxic, problematic person to the gay community to be your dream castmate. Like, really? And when I thought of Tokyo Vanity, all I could think of was when she did T.S. Madison's The Supreme Court, the Queen Supreme Court. And I was like, I hope Nene isn't trying to do that because there's only one Maddie. You can't replicate that. Now, as far as Claudia, I actually watched, well, I didn't watch, but I listened to it in the car. What is it? The TGIF? And I wanted to kind of hear, because when you said it on Twitter, I kind of wanted to hear what her show was about with them. And they kind of said when the four of them got together to address Nene's reading table that so many people wanted them to come together and do a show because they just liked the dynamic of those four. And I really think that it is a very good show. It was a very good show. It's not a lot of the, as Nene would do, all the extras, that extra. It's not that. They have very intelligent conversations. I never really heard Al Reynolds speak, but to me, he's the glue for when Funky Dineva and Gary start to go too far. Al brings it back together because he's very intelligent, and I just never really followed him, so I didn't say he was dumb, but he's very intelligent, and he brings it back to an intelligent conversation. And really, Claudia doesn't have to be there. Like, she's the moderator, but she really just lets those three talk. So it was a really good show.
Okay.
It was hypocritical. I did think it was hypocritical. Like, Funky, you read Nene, and then you turned around and did the same thing. But it seemed like it was something the audience asked for. And I think it could be a really good show.
Okay. All right. Cool. I hear that. So I just want to say to our viewers, we are going to be taking a break for Thanksgiving weekend, but we will be back in 2 weeks. Angie, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. I mean, we've been here a little bit longer than than I wanted to. We're a little bit over, but thank you for sticking with us. And will you be sticking with us for the after show?
I can.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So can you please let the viewers know where to find you online?
Online on YouTube is Kiss My Cheeks TV. On Twitter is at Kiss My Cheeks TV. On Instagram is at Kiss_My_Cheeks78. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, sounds good. So if you enjoyed our conversation and want to see more, go to boysandbrunch.com now and become a patron, where you'll get exclusive monthly posts, access to our after show, Splitting the Bill, and early free ticket access to our private brunch event. So I think it's time for our toast, everyone. Raise a glass. I only got a little bit left in here.
Give me, bro.
Me too.
So until next time, be careful what you say, because the boys will brunch. Take care.